So good morning and welcome back. The ponies are in because it is a very, very hot day, and I thought I would do some leather cleaning with you these are my old boots that I used to ride in, and then I bought some new ones. These are more of a summer boot because they've got holes in them. And I thought I'd just do a clean with me whilst I do explain my story and how I got into riding. So I had just split up with somebody who promised my daughter to ride a race pony. And she never got to ride this race pony, so I said to her, don't worry about it, I'll pay for some riding lessons for you and you can see whether you like it. She was about 9-10 years old, and we went to a lovely little place, sort of the other side of Yeovil. I don't know if it was Crewkerne or somewhere like that. I don't know, it was a long time ago, I can't remember. And then she really enjoyed it, but it was kind of too far for us to go. So I found this other riding place, but it was kind of not what we wanted. It was like follow the leader. She wasn't really learning anything. So then we found this other yard where she was having private lessons one-to-one on a horse called Thistle. It was absolutely fantastic. She learnt a lot off her. So from there, we were still at the same yard, and Soldier, there he is, I don't know if you can see him in the camera. Soldier came up for loan, and we were like, yes, we definitely want to loan him, because it was cheaper to loan a horse than to have lessons once a week. In hindsight, I should have carried on with just lessons, and she should have learnt more before owning a horse, but we were new to the horse world. So from there, the lady unfortunately had the big C, and she was looking for a new home for Soldier. And I just finished building my lovely camper van. I will actually put that video up on this channel actually of the camper van, of building it. So we just built a lovely camper van. We were having lovely holidays away in it, but Scarlett had fallen in love with this pony, and it was like, okay, I've got to buy this pony for her. So I sold the camper van for a lot less than what it was worth, just because I didn't want anybody else to buy this pony. I wanted the money like straight away. And so then we bought Soldier. In amongst all this happening, it was COVID, lots of COVIDs, lots of lockdowns. So it seemed like the right thing to do at the time, like because our riding lessons, both me and Scarlett were having riding lessons, our riding lessons were sort of intermittent with COVID because we couldn't do it. So we bought him. So then we were able to ride when we wanted, do what we wanted, when we wanted, and how we wanted. So from there we sort of went solo, and in amongst all that timing I decided that I wanted to ride racehorses. So I started helping out at yards with racehorses. I'd gone to, so I started at a man who no longer trains called Mark Gillard, and I was only mucking out, learning the basics, wasn't really riding, like stable stuff basically. And I was like, I really enjoy this. I want to learn how to ride properly. Like I had, so then Buddy was useless on the racetrack, absolutely useless, and Mark Gillard was selling him. So we ended up buying Soldier, a friend, and that was undercover agent Buddy. So he was a 3-year-old at the time, and it wasn't the best thing for me to do, go and buy a 3-year-old. I would not recommend it, although he was good as gold and he taught me everything that I know today. So I've got to be extremely grateful for that. But there were our moments, there were our hairy moments, don't get me wrong. So we ended up with Buddy and we ended up with Soldier. So we tried livery yards together, but it just got far too expensive having them on livery. And then eventually, going through the places, we found this place. And this place is absolutely brilliant. We have a lunge pen that's not, needs fixing up. We've got amples of fields. We've got amples of stables. And it's a good price for having 2 horses and for what you get. But in between that, I went to racing school. I learnt how to ride properly. I then went back and I rode some of Mark Gillard's horses and done a tendon in my thumb. I was on the horse and I was like, literally, we just went to get on the horse, put my hands down on the withers and I heard a snap. I carried on riding like an idiot that I am. So I carried on riding and I just made it worse. So there was my hand in a cast for 6 weeks. That was my first sort of setback. Well, it wasn't my first setback, it's the first setback in riding properly, because I just got into it. I'd literally just come back from racing school. Anyways, had the time off, hand healed, went to go and help out a man called Milton Harris. Now, anybody in the racing industry knows that Milton Harris is, let's just say, a wrong un, for argument's sake. So went to Milton Harris's, didn't like it. Sussed him out pretty quick, basically. Then from Milton Harris's, I went to Sid Hosey's, but I was only mucking out there, and I was like, I want more. I'm worth more than mucking out. I'm not saying that people that just muck out aren't worth anything, because they are. They're worth their weight in gold. They look after the horses on an everyday basis. They notice if anything's wrong with the horse. They're the first ones to notice whether their poos are okay, whether they're colicking. They are the first people that see everything. Because they're the first ones in the stable, basically. So anyways, I was like, I want more from life than just helping mucking out. So then I went to Bill Turner's, and that was recent. I went and helped Bill Turner out. I really got into riding there. Bill Turner taught me everything I know, like, got me riding properly. Like, I could ride previously, but not to the standard that I could at Bill Turner's. Bill Turner is a legend, that's all I can say. He was a legend. So I really got into riding, started riding the 2 and 3-year-olds. Balance loads better, posture loads better, confidence would gain. Then on a horse called Sid, I think it was Sid anyways, not too sure, I'm sure it was Sid. Was it Sid? Pretty much, I think so. I think that was the horse's stable name. I don't know what its race name is, didn't have one at the time. Anyways, I break my leg, snap both bones, and end up with 2 plates and 11 screws. So now I'm kind of just doing my own thing. But racing is my thing. Racing, and I'd love to be able to jump, my goal for this year is to jump a hurdle. I've only ever done cross poles, so it's quite a big thing. Ah, look, both horses are in the shot. So that is my sort of story on how I owned horses, how I got into it. And you've got to remember that when I did all this, I was late to the game. I was 30. I was 30 when I started. Scarlett was late to the game because she was 10 when she started. So if people wonder why we're a little bit behind, lacking knowledge or don't know something, that is why. We've done it 7 years. So there's our story. I thought I would give you a story time on this new channel because people that haven't followed our old channel won't know the background story of how we became horse owners. The yard's nearly ready for a yard tour, which I'm just going to clean up and do some weed picking tonight. And then it's ready for a yard tour, which I think is brilliant, because most of it's nearly finished. I mean, in the equestrian world, you're never really finished, are you? So it's as good as it's going to get for now. I've done a story time chat because it is 30 degrees here in England and it's too hot for the horses to be out. It's too hot to do anything else other than sit down and clean tack. So I will show you what I've cleaned my tack with, and I think it's the best one. So first off, I just went over with fairy liquid and a cloth, and then I used this NAF balsam. I think it's really good and it gives your shoes a really good shine. I mean, like, you saw them before. Look how clean they are now. They've got a nice shine to them. So they won't last. They won't be like that in a couple of days' time. We also then go over with Belva tack conditioning, and we also use the cleanser. And then sometimes we just use normal bog standard shoe polish. And then if I spin the camera over here so you can get the full extent of what I'm doing. Oh, not a good shot. We've cleaned our brushes, our tack bag, like everything my child has is literally Lemure. Hopefully this channel can go big and then we can get a sponsor. And then I'll just show you rather than put it back. The curry comb. Bot knives are essential. They're actually dog scissors out of a dog kit, which is really good. And then a mane pulling comb. I pulled his mane, I didn't pull it, I cut his mane. And I need to pull it at some point. So anyways, I've scattered everything across the yard. And the yard is looking a mess, so I'm going to clean this up quickly and put things back. At least they'll go back clean.